All right, here we go. If x comma 1 is the solution for the following system of equations, what is the value of x? Well, you have one equation that's already in y equals. Put it in the calculator. Y equals x minus 3. But the other one is not in y equals. So move the x to the other side. If it's positive on the left, it's negative on the right. So now you have y equals negative x plus 5. Punch that in. After we get done with that, excuse my, we are going to look for where they cross. And so to do that, do second calc, go to number 5, which is intersect. Get it close on the first line of the first curve, get it close, and then just hit enter, 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 and it will automatically tell you that x equals 4. Question 2. The solution to the system below is, we already said from question 1, the solution is where they intersect, so all you have to do is find the point where these two lines intersect. And if you look, it's positive 1, negative 2. Yippee, it's so exciting. Number 3, find the slope of a line. Slope of a line, y equals mx plus b. You probably remember the song, y equals mx plus b. And if you don't, look it up on YouTube. Some guy made it. It's awesome. So put in y equals mx plus b, the 2x is positive on the left, which means it's going to be negative on the right. Yes, and the positive, or the 5 is positive, so you have y equals negative 2x plus 5. And we're asking for the slope. The slope is the m, kind of like a mountain, and so your slope is negative 2. Question 4, find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the number that's hanging out all by its lonesome self, or the value of b. Negative 2x, we're going to put it to the other side. It's going to be positive 2x. The 4 is positive, so you write down plus 4. Bring down the 2y. Your last step is going to be to divide by 2. Divide everything by 2. And so now we need to figure out what value is in that position right there. 4 divided by 2, you can reduce that, is 2. Question 5, what is the slope of the line below? Slope is rise over run. So you either rise up or you rise down. And what I mean by rise down is means you're just falling if you have a negative line. And in this case, we have a negative line. We're going to pick 2 points and you're going to rise down or fall down 2 over 1. Down 2, run to the right 1. Down 2, run to the right 1. You always run to the right. So negative 2 over 1, and so it is negative 2. Okay, we have a proportion. Solve it like a proportion. You probably think, well, I'm going to cross multiply and divide, but in Algebra 1, we cross multiply and solve. So let's cross multiply. Pick 2 of them across from each other. We'll do 24 times 2x plus 1 and 72 times 2x minus 1. But instead of doing your traditional distribution, we can actually graph these two separately in the calculator. I want to show you a little trick here. So what we're going to do is we're going to type the one on the left in y1 and the one on the right in y2, and it doesn't matter which you put, y1 or y2, and just graph them. And then what you can do is you can go to the table, the table, if you're French, and just look right here where x is 1, y is 72 for both of those. So we know the value of x is 1 because we're looking for which quantity of x makes those two equal. So our answer is B. Number 7, the sides of a triangle have the following lengths. So draw a triangle and label the side lengths. 2x minus 1, x plus 3, and 3x minus 4. Which of the following describes the perimeter? Perimeter, remember what perimeter is, where you add all of the sides together. So we're just going to add all of these 3 sides together here. Here we go. So 3x minus 4 plus 2x minus 1 plus x plus 3. That's going to equal the entire perimeter. Add your x's, add your x terms. 3x plus 2x is 5x plus 1 more x is 6x. Now combine your numbers. Negative 4 minus 1. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. But you're not done. You have to take negative 5 and add 3 to it. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2, or in this case, minus 2. So our perimeter, 6x minus 2. Number 8, we are going to solve number 8 just like we solved number 6. Split it up, graph the left one in y1, the one on the right in y2, but this time instead of going to the table, I want to show you how you can calculate the intersection. So I'm going to have to zoom out here so we can get a visual of where these two are intersecting. And I'm going to have to zoom out one more time. So zoom, number 3, zoom out, enter. And now we can get close. We can find out where they intersect, somewhere over there. So go to second calc, number 5, the intersect. And on the first line or curve, get it close to where you think it is intersecting or they are intersecting, enter, 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 and it tells you that x equals 20. Which set of ordered pairs is a function? Well, to make it a function, you only use one of the x values. You can't repeat the x values, and if you look at letter A does not repeat any x values, so that makes it a function. Number 10, for f of x, they give you a set of coordinates. Find f of 2. Well, if I write f of x under f of 2, you'll notice that they're just simply telling you that x equals 2. They replaced 2 for x. So if 2 is x, what's the counterpart that goes with it? What is the y? Well, there's 2 right there for x, which means y is 3. All right, number 11, find the domain of the function graph below. Let's zoom in here a little bit. The domain is talking about the x values. So we're going to zoom in here so we can get a little bit better picture of what these x values look like, or how far in the x direction does this graph go. And so when I do problems like this, I like to start to the left side of the graph. So how far to the left did this start? So it looks like it started at -3. But since it's a closed circle, it's going to have the equal sign with it. So we're going to write down the less than or equal sign with that. And then go all the way over to the right. How far to the right can this graph go? And it can only go out to +5, but since it's an open circle, it's not going to have the equal sign with it. And so our answer is B. Those are very simple to write if you're struggling with how to do the less than or greater than. Get them going in the same direction. So on number 12, again, find the range. Range is the y. So I'm going to start at the bottom. How low does this graph start? It starts at -2 and it's solid. So less than or equal sign. Go up as far as you can go. It can go all the way up to +2. But since it's an open circle, you're going to write down the inequality sign without the equal sign, and our answer is A. Get them going in the same direction. All right, find the slope of the line through the points -3, 5, -1, 2. We're going to use stat edit. Okay, stat edit is a little calculator trick that will calculate the slope of a line if they give you some points. And L1 and L2, that's a fancy way of just saying x and y. So again, and I'll show you here, stat, edit, and then what you're going to do under L1, punch in your x values, -3 and -1, those are my x values, and then 5 and 2, those are the y values. You're going to go to stat, calc, look at number 4, ax plus b. You're used to seeing mx plus b. Well, a is the same as m, so they tell you that the a or the m in this case is -1.5, which is the same as -3/2. Which equation best describes the line below? Okay, there's my x and y axis. Start with what we can graph. Let's look at letter A, or answer choice A. We can graph y equals 7, so let's graph that. Do we get something that looks similar? Well, I'm zoomed out, so do a zoom standard. Does that look like what we have? No. Let's try y equals -7. Let's see if that's going to look like the graph in the problem. So under y equals -7, we hit graph. Nope. So it has to be an x equals. Well, it's either going to be x equals 7 or x equals -7, and since it's crossing the x-axis at +7, our answer is B. All right, here we go, 15. What is the range? The range where they're asking, what are the y values? And they give you an equation when the x values are -5, -3, -1. Take your equation, punch it in the calculator, f of x, just a fancy way of saying y equals x squared minus 3. Go to your table, and let's find where x is -5. So let's start with -5, scroll up. When x is -5, y is 22. Okay, well you can already determine what your answer choice is, but just for sake of argument, let's go through and look at -3. If I look for -3 on the x, I get 6. Look for -1 on the x, I get -2. Curtis sold 25 movie tickets and received $113. Those are both totals. So we're going to have two equations that are going to be equal to 25 and another one that's going to be equal to $113. So let's break the problem down here. Adult tickets cost $5 each. All right. Every time an adult shows up, we charge them $5. Two of them show up, 10. Three of them, 15. So we know we're multiplying the price of $5 times the number of adults. The children's tickets, $3.50 for each one. We're going to multiply the price of $3.50 times the number of children. Now start with how many we sold. We sold some amount of adults plus children's tickets. Those came out to 25 total tickets. Now let's apply the money. And like we said, it's $5 per adult, or times 5 times A, and then $3.50 times the number of children, C. That equaled $113. Now let's just match our equation up. A does not match up. Look at letter C. And if you look at letter C, that one matches perfectly up with what we wrote. All right, write the inequality whose graph is shown below. Start with, enjoy the bell, start with the line. It's solid, which means it's going to be either a less than or equal or greater than or equal. Well, they're all less than or greater than equal. Where did they shade? They shaded below the line. Below means less than, so we're going to mark off any of them that are greater than. So we'll mark C and D off, and then simply look, is the line positive or negative? Since it's a positive line, it's going to have a positive slope, which means the number in front of X has to be positive, giving me letter B. Number 18, it's a simplify. Well, apply a little trick here. If you have a negative sign in front of the parentheses, make it positive and then just negate, which means change all the values from positive to negative and negative to positive inside parentheses, which we did. And then combine your like terms, a squared plus a squared, 2a squared. Negative 4a plus 7a, that's going to be positive 3a. And then our last, negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12, and it might be hard to see with that stamp there, but the answer is C. Multiply 2 times, man, we're going to put a 1 in front of the x squared. Start with your numbers. 2 times 1 is 2. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Then 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. X squared times x is x to the 3rd. And then bring down the y since there's nothing else for the y to multiply with. And then look, can we cross out anything? Yes, if you look right here, it almost looks like C is going to be our answer because we don't see any other answers that have negative 6 x to the 3rd y. And C is our answer. But just to kind of go through and finish the problem, let's finish here. 2 times, put a 1 in front of the y squared. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. X squared, y squared would be the value at the end. Thank you, Bill. Find the missing factor. That Bill wants to make its YouTube debut on almost every single one of my videos. 3 times 2 is 6, x squared times x is x to the 3rd, y times y is y squared. We're trying to figure out what can we multiply to get that answer that we just circled. Start with the obvious, the numbers. 6 times 9 is 54. 9 times 6 is 54. We cross out A. Now remember, when you're multiplying with exponents, you're adding. So x to the 3rd times what is going to give me x to the 7th? We'll subtract and you get x to the 4th. And that's what we did with the y squared. Y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. Apply 5x times 3x. This is a multi-distribution. 5x times 3x is 15x squared. Now you have to multiply the 5x times negative 4. You get negative 20x. And now let's jump to the positive 2. 2 times 3x is positive 6x. Positive 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Combine your like terms in the middle. The negative 20x plus 6x is negative 14x. Bring down what you have left and match up your answer. And it looks like it's D. Yippee! 22. 22 is similar to 21, except now they're asking you to work in an opposite direction. We're going to go ahead and go straight to the answer. The answer is C. Notice I'm going to cross out A, and the reason why is because A has positive values for everything, and I have actually a negative sign there. And you can't get negatives from everything being positive, so I can cross out A. And just taking our answer from C, let's do our multi-distribution. X times x is x squared. x times negative 3 is negative 3x, negative 8 times x, negative 8x, negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24. Combine your like terms, negative 11x plus 24. Bring that down, x squared, and then just match that up to the original, and you'll see that that is our answer. X squared minus x minus 20, it says solve. Well, to solve it, you're simply just going to graph it and figure out where it crosses the x-axis. I'm just kind of giving you a little visual representation there. So go under the y equals, and we're going to type in x squared minus x minus 20. Come on, you can do it. Go to graph and kind of do a visual inspection. See if you can see. Look over here off to the left. It crosses negative 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's at positive 5. Our answer is D. If using the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, start extracting your coefficients. A is 2, b is negative 7, c is negative 3. Now that is the negative value of b. So the negative value of negative 7. So we're going to use parentheses anytime we substitute a number for the letters A, B, and C. And so you'll see we're using the parentheses. Start writing down your information under the radical sign. That's just the square root, dude. It's totally rad. Divided by 2 times A. It's so cool. And you're going to notice that we have some double signs. Let's start cleaning some stuff up here. Negative and a negative, that just makes it a positive. It's a positive 7. So we're going to cross out anything we can. Looks like we can cross out A. Goodbye. Negative 7 squared. Punch it in your calculator, but use the parentheses. You get positive 49. And then 4 times 2 times negative 3. Notice we get negative 24, but you have to bring down that minus sign under the radical. So you get minus a negative 24, which is a positive 24. So that means we're going to add underneath the radical sign. And then 2 times 2, some tough math, 4. So let's clean it up here. 49 plus 24. 49 plus 24. That's going to give us a value of 73. And if you look right here, it looks like our answer choice is going to be C. Totally rad.